You think the FBI is all action, raids at dawn, badges flashing, criminals confessing under pressure. That does happen, sometimes. But what nobody tells you is that the higher you climb in the FBI, the less law enforcement you actually do. At some point, you stop chasing criminals and start dodging emails, internal investigations, and career-ending mistakes that don't involve a gun at all. Because in the FBI, promotion doesn't just mean more authority. It means less freedom, more politics, and a front-row seat to decisions that can end up on the news. One bad call, one wrong signature, and suddenly your name isn't on a commendation. It's in a congressional hearing. So today, we're breaking down every FBI rank, from the wide-eyed trainee at Quantico who still believes in movie logic, all the way to the director, the one person whose job is so stressful that history usually roasts them harder than YouTube ever could. By the end of this video, you'll understand why some agents dream of promotion, and why others quietly pray they never get it. FBI trainee, Quantico. Welcome to Quantico, the place where confidence goes to get professionally humbled. As an FBI trainee, you've made it past the background checks, the polygraphs, the interviews about the interviews, and somehow convinced the Bureau that you're mentally stable enough to carry a badge. Congratulations. This is the last moment in your career where you think you know what you signed up for. At this stage, you still believe the FBI is mostly about chasing criminals. You imagine dramatic arrests, last-second breakthroughs, and suspects folding under pressure. That would be something fun. Instead, your daily life is a brutal mix of academics, physical training, legal lectures, and being reminded that one mistake can end everything before you even graduate. Miss too many shots on the range? Problem. Fail a legal exam? Bigger problem. Say something dumb in class? Congratulations, you've just been noticed, and not in a good way. Quantico trainees live in a constant state of controlled stress. You're evaluated on everything: how you run, how you think, how you speak, how you react under pressure. Instructors don't yell like drill sergeants. They're worse. They're calm, surgical, and terrifyingly observant. You'll mess up, and they'll let you sit in that silence long enough for you to realize it yourself. Psychological warfare, but with a federal budget. This is also where ego goes to die. You might have been a cop, a lawyer, an accountant, or a soldier before this. None of that matters here. Everyone is equal, and everyone is replaceable. If you can't adapt, you don't fail. You simply disappear from the program. No dramatic exit, no speech, just a quiet reminder that the FBI always has another applicant waiting. By the end of Quantico, you'll either walk out sharper, calmer, and painfully aware of how much you still don't know, or you won't walk out at all. FBI Special Agent. This is it. You've graduated Quantico, flashed the badge in the mirror at least once, and now you're officially an FBI special agent. In your head, this is where the movie finally starts. In reality, this is where you learn that the badge doesn't make you powerful. It makes you accountable for everything you do, say, and forget to do. As a brand new special agent, you arrive at your first field office thinking you're ready. You are not. You know the law academically, but now you have to apply it in the real world, where suspects lie, witnesses forget, evidence disappears, and nothing ever fits perfectly into the textbook examples you memorized. Every report you write gets reviewed. Every decision you make gets questioned. Every mistake gets remembered, not publicly, but internally. And that's worse. Your day-to-day life is a strange mix of boredom and sudden chaos. One moment you're buried in paperwork, affidavits, and surveillance logs. The next, your phone rings and your entire schedule detonates. Surveillance at 5 a.m., court at 10, interview at 2, report due yesterday. And no, you don't get to say, "That's not my job." In the FBI, everything is your job. You also quickly learn that being an agent isn't about kicking doors. It's about patience. Hours in a car watching nothing happen. Weeks building a case that might never go anywhere. Months waiting on approvals. The Bureau doesn't reward impatience. It punishes it hard. Socially, you're in limbo. You're respected by outsiders, tested by peers, and quietly evaluated by supervisors who never tell you what they really think. You're expected to be professional, calm, ethical, and discreet at all times. Because one bad call doesn't just ruin your career, it embarrasses the FBI. This is the rank where you stop feeling special and start feeling the weight. You're no longer training for the job, you are the job. Supervisory Special Agent, SSA. Congratulations, you were a good agent. And in the FBI, that means you've now been promoted away from doing the job you were good at. As a Supervisory Special Agent, your badge still works, but your life quietly transforms into meetings, emails, and responsibility you didn't ask for. You're no longer judged by your cases, you're judged by other people's mistakes. And trust me, they will make plenty. This is the rank where you stop chasing criminals and start chasing deadlines. You review case files instead of building them. You approve operations instead of running them. You sit across from agents who are convinced their case is the most important thing in the Bureau, and you have to tell them no with a straight face. Repeatedly, diplomatically, forever, your day becomes a juggling act. Upper management wants numbers, results, and zero scandals. Your agents want resources, time, and forgiveness. And you're stuck in the middle, translating impossible expectations into something vaguely realistic. When something goes right, the credit goes up. When something goes wrong, it stops right at you. This is also where leadership theory meets reality. You quickly learn that being smart doesn't make someone reliable, and being motivated doesn't make someone competent. You're now responsible for training, discipline, morale, and performance, all while pretending you're not stressed out of your mind. Fieldwork doesn't disappear completely, but when you do show up, it's usually because something is already on fire. You're the closer, the fixer, the person sent in when a case is politically sensitive, legally messy, or one bad decision away from becoming a headline. The hardest part? You're still expected to think like an agent, but act like management. And the FBI has a long memory when supervisors mess up. This rank is where careers are quietly made, or quietly buried. Assistant Special Agent in Charge, ASIC. This is where the FBI officially stops pretending you're just a senior agent. As an ASIC, you are now management with a capital M. You don't just supervise people, you supervise supervisors. And if that sounds exhausting, it's because it is. At this rank, your badge still says Special Agent, but your real weapon is decision-making under pressure. You're responsible for entire programs, squads, and sometimes whole operational areas within a field office. Counterterrorism, cybercrime, public corruption, pick your poison. If something explodes politically, legally, or on the news, your phone is the one that rings. Your days are packed with briefings, coordination calls, and meetings where everyone is carefully choosing their words because nobody wants to be the person quoted later. You translate strategy from the top into action at the ground level, while simultaneously explaining ground-level chaos back to headquarters in a way that sounds controlled and intentional. This is also where the Bureau's chess game really starts. Every move matters, promotions matter, optics matter. One bad call doesn't just hurt a case, it can stall your career permanently. You're no longer judged only on results, but on judgment, temperament, and how well you keep the FBI out of trouble. You still care about the mission, but now you care just as much about how it looks. You're balancing law enforcement, politics, media, and internal culture, often all in the same afternoon. ASAC is where you stop thinking like an agent and start thinking like the Bureau itself. Special Agent in Charge, SAC. This is it. You are no longer part of the field office. You are the field office. As a Special Agent in Charge, everything that happens in your jurisdiction belongs to you. Every arrest, every investigation, every mistake, every headline. If a case goes well, Washington nods politely. If a case goes sideways, your name is suddenly very easy to find. At this level, you're not chasing criminals anymore. You're commanding an ecosystem. Hundreds of agents, analysts, professional staff, task forces, and partner agencies all flow through you. Local law enforcement wants your resources. Headquarters wants compliance. The media wants answers. Politicians want reassurance. And criminals? They don't even see you. They just feel the pressure you create. Your days are built around briefings, strategy sessions, and high-stakes decisions that don't come with perfect information. You're constantly weighing risk versus reward, justice versus optics, speed versus precision. One wrong move doesn't just hurt an investigation. It can damage public trust in the entire Bureau. This is also where diplomacy becomes survival. You're coordinating with U.S. attorneys, governors, mayors, intelligence agencies, and sometimes foreign partners. Every conversation is professional, polite, and quietly intense. You don't raise your voice. You don't have to. Your authority speaks first. Ironically, this is the rank where you feel the least operational control. You rely entirely on your leadership team. Trust becomes your most valuable asset and your biggest vulnerability. Being a SAC means carrying the full weight of the FBI's mission in your region, knowing that if something breaks, it won't roll downhill. It stops with you. Executive Assistant Director, EAD. At this rank, you are no longer thinking in cases, offices, or even regions. You're thinking in systems. The Executive Assistant Director operates at the level where the FBI stops being a law enforcement agency and starts looking like a massive national machine that must never, ever stall. EADs oversee entire branches of the Bureau: national security, criminal investigations, intelligence, science, and technology. These aren't just departments, they're empires. Thousands of personnel, billion-dollar budgets, global responsibilities. When policies shift, threats evolve, or Congress starts asking uncomfortable questions, you're one of the people expected to already have answers. Your day is a blur of classified briefings, interagency coordination, and decisions that ripple across the country. You're no longer reacting to crime. You're anticipating it. Terror threats, cyber warfare, foreign intelligence operations. You're planning years ahead while managing crises unfolding right now. This is also where the pressure becomes invisible but relentless. There's no dramatic raid, no adrenaline rush, just constant mental strain. Every choice must balance legality, effectiveness, political reality, and long-term consequences. One misstep here doesn't end a case. It rewrites policy and triggers investigations of its own. Ironically, this rank comes with less public recognition and more responsibility than almost any other. The public doesn't know your name, but lawmakers do, intelligence partners do, and they all expect perfection. EADS don't chase criminals. They shape how the nation chases criminals. Deputy Director. This is the second most powerful seat in the entire FBI. There is exactly one deputy director, and at this point you're no longer managing operations. You're managing the director, which sounds impressive, until you realize it means absorbing pressure from every possible direction, so the director doesn't have to. The deputy director is the Bureau's operational brain. While the director deals with Congress, the media, and public-facing accountability, you handle the internal chaos. You oversee daily operations across every branch, every division, every field office. If something is broken anywhere in the FBI, it will eventually land on your desk, usually labeled urgent. This rank is where decisions stop being tactical and start being existential. Budget priorities, resource allocation, internal investigations, policy enforcement, everything funnels through you. You're constantly balancing national security with civil liberties, effectiveness with legality, speed with consequences. There are no easy calls anymore, just least damaging ones. Your calendar is a war zone. Classified briefings in the morning, interagency meetings at noon, crisis management in the afternoon, and congressional prep at night. You don't sleep, you power down. And every word you say is measured, documented, and remembered. At this level, you're not judged on what you do. You're judged on whether the Bureau functions, quietly, smoothly, without becoming tomorrow's scandal. You are the FBI's stabilizer. Director of the FBI. This is the chair, the apex, the job where every decision echoes for decades. The FBI director doesn't run cases, doesn't run offices. They run the institution itself. You are responsible for more than 35,000 employees, the Bureau's culture, its credibility, and its relationship with the American public. Your term is 10 years, for a reason. This job is designed to outlast politics, even though politics never stop trying to touch it. Every major investigation eventually lands near you. Terrorism, espionage, corruption, cyber threats. When something threatens national stability, your signature, or refusal to sign, can change history. And when things go wrong, you're the face everyone remembers. Your days are spent briefing presidents, testifying before Congress, coordinating with intelligence agencies worldwide, and making decisions knowing you'll be second-guessed forever. You don't get applause, you get scrutiny, endless, relentless scrutiny. The irony? You have less direct control than almost anyone below you. You rely entirely on the system beneath you to function. Trust is everything, and risk is unavoidable. Being FBI director isn't about power, it's about restraint, knowing when not to act, knowing when silence is safer than action, and knowing that no matter what you choose, someone will say you were wrong. This is the final rank. No promotion, no escape, just legacy. And that's the FBI, from trainee to the one desk where history quietly gets written.